Hi. Ay.
Should I
Okay.
say for the
Hold on
record that
a
Alicia
second,
is
she
playing
said.
Pinchas?
Okay, wait, so here we are. Okay. Okay.
Everybody show their Pinchases again. Raise your hand if your middle name is Pinchas.
Raise your hand if your middle name's Pinchas.
Akiva.
Your middle name, if your name was
Lavi.
Pinchas,
Raise your hand,
raise
Lavi.
your hand. Raise your hand.
Yay! So do you know that
Alicia.
Lavi,
pick up your hand.
Lavi's middle name is Pinchas, and Akiva's middle name is Pinchas, and Alicia's middle name is Pinchas, and Daniel's middle name is Pinchas.
Very good.
Right. Okay. So, okay. So, let's see how we're gonna do this. Well, we have the children. Oh, look at this. Well, we have the children's attention a little bit.
So can I tell the children what I say every year? That Dedushka was Kira's was Babushka's daddy. Okay? And your mommies and your daddies were his grandchildren. And I learned how to be a super daddy from Dedushka. The way Dedushka was with his grandchildren is the way I try and be with you. He was always with you, always had infinite patience for you. He used to take the grandchildren shopping for candy all the time, and his world was to be with them as much as he could. And I try and channel that as much as I can.
Right.
Akiva wants to say something. What do you want to say?
That super day, you from Dedushka, the kids, you learned how to be a super daddy.
That's exactly right. Dedushka was like the super daddy for your daddy when he was a little boy. And I watched the way that he was with his grandchildren, and he was so sweet with them, and he gave him candy and stuff. And I said, oh, that's how. And now when I'm with you, I think of Dedushka all the time. Like when we go and play, or we jump in the bed, or I give you chocolate eggs on Shabbat morning. That's all. I learned that all from Dedushka. I learned how to be a super daddy from Dedushka, not from my daddy, from Babushka's daddy.
Okay, but your daddy's also a very good grandfather.
Okay, that's not okay. I'm more like Dedushka.
You are more like Dedushka, especially when the candy. And the running around. Yeah. So Dedushka
was more strict about how many candies each one of us got, though. Oh, in our generation, not for Or and Ari and stuff.
What, there was a limit?
Yeah, we were allowed to choose one thing.
That's why Or is so fat.
We had 10 shekel and we could pick whatever we wanted within those 10 shekels. So we
Not
could get
always.
a lot
Sometimes
of
it was we got one
could get
thing.
a lot of pamsutsim or one really cool candy.
I'm actually not sure how accurate that is, because I remember that Hadar, Ari, and I only had we had I think 1 or 2 shekels that we could spend. And it was only picking one thing. I think that a couple months before he died, one time we went and we splurged, but that was the only.
It was 5 shekel, and only because I forced a limit because he wouldn't.
Seriously?
Okay.
Will everybody say, everybody say Ankisa?
Ankisa.
Okay, let's see. Oh, there's. Okay, now let's wave again with especially for Angisa. All the little boys whose middle name is Pinchas. Okay, come all the little boys whose middle name is Pinchas. Raise your hands again for Angisa and wave to Angisa. Oh look, there's.
Pick up your hand.
Well, there's Alicia. Do you see Alicia? Oh my gosh, are you the cutest? Okay, each the cutest, and Levi. And there's Danielle, and there's Levi, and there's Akiva, and there's Alicia. Oh my gosh, she's cute. Right. So
actually, if we were mentioning candy, I just want to share this one picture. This past summer, me, Raya, and Hadar went out to the candy store Dedushka used to take us to. We said hi to people there, and we got candy. And as everyone can expect, they remembered Dedushka. They remembered him coming in with an army of little children. They said such wonderful things about us, and the 3 of us got some candy. And went to share this picture.
Today?
No, this was last summer.
It was really
Beautiful.
special to see them. I remember the guy who we would always do wasn't there at the time, but like his wife or daughter was there, and apparently she had been told about Dedushka, which is even more.
That's right.
Yeah.
So and a similar note, I don't have like a full-sized Vartora, but I have a like a little Vort that had something very similar to do with it. In the end of last week's parsha, we hear about how Moshe Rabbeinu came down from Har Sinai. His face was full of light, yeah, Karan or Panav, and it happened because he spent all this time together with Hashem, and he learned how to be, he learned all the Torah from Hashem and how to be a person from Hashem, and then his face was all lit up, and it was so much that people really a little bit scared of him. But the truth is, people who are close to Hashem, their face lights up in different levels, and people who are very good to others, people who have a lot of love in their heart, their face also lights up. So, this past week I went to buy presents for Akiva and Reut for their birthday. Right, Akiva, I bought you presents for your birthday? Yeah. And I went to the same toy store that Dedushka used to go to buy presents for your daddy. And there's a person there whose name is Shimon, and he said, you know, I remember the Dedushka, because he used to come in looking for presents for his grandchildren, and his face would light up. He was so excited to buy presents for his grandchildren, and his face lit up so much that he remembers it even now, which was 11 years ago, which is really quite a long time, especially for a person, you know, who has a store and has customers. I'm sure there are many, many grandparents who come to buy presents for their grandchildren, but he remembered this one grandfather, you know, how his face would light up to buy presents for his grandchildren. So, you know, one of the things I learned a long time ago was that your facial expression, it's not for you, it's for the people who are around you. Yeah, you don't see your own facial expression except here on Zoom, but other people do. And if you're smiling, then it's for other people, right? You also feel good, but if you're smiling, then the people around you are the ones who are affected. So, you know, that is something that you see. Shelby, you had something?
Babushka asked me and Ari learned together Pirkei Avot. Natasha, that's what we learned together in memory of Dedushka. We had a chavruti like 10 years ago in memory of Dedushka. So me and Ari just learned Pirkei Avot. And Babushka asked if we could prepare something. And Ari messaged me just now saying, did you prepare something? And I said, yes, Perek Daled Mishnah Aleph. And he said, I prepared the same exact one. Because of course, there's this one Mishnah. So I'll read it out, and Ari, you'll say what you wanted to say about it. I'll read it out in English. One second. Ben Zoma said, who is wise? He who learns from every man, as it says, from all who taught me I have gained understanding. Who is mighty? He who subsides his evil inclinations, as it says, he who is slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he rules his spirit, then he takes and he who that rules his spirit, then he who takes a city. Who is rich? He who rejoices in his lot, as it says, you shall enjoy the fruit of your labor, you shall be happy and you shall prosper. You shall be happy in this world, and you should prosper in the world to come. Who is he that is honored? He who honors his fellow human being, as it says, for I honor those that honor me, but those who spurn me shall be dishonored. And when reading this, you cannot help but think of Dedushka and all the different parts. That he is wise because he learned from every people. He is mighty because he can control his feelings. He was rich, but not in money, but in the way he reacted to his wealth. He was happy with what he had, and I never thought that Dedushka was not wealthy because of the way he used his money and how he was happy with what he had, and he was honored, and he honored other people. Ari, would you like to add?
Yes, regarding the aspect of being honored, I believe it's the Minchat Avot writes on that section that there are those who explain this to mean that a kli, an object, an item, a container, can't have more than it can contain, right? And in that same way, you can't exactly have more honor than you give, right? Or at least you shouldn't. Of course, a cup can have 30%, 40% being filled, but if the cup is overflowing with honor, then that water will spread out. In the same way, Dedushka being so willing to honor everyone else, you couldn't help but see him as this full cup, this just figure of being honored by everyone and only using that to honor other people more.
The least nice thing I ever heard Dedushka say about anyone went something like, Malky, maybe she's not a great friend.
Have you ever been in the car when he was driving?
Oh, okay.
Then he appears to everyone around him.
Okay.
And this is why you don't give me a gun.
Okay, fine, but that's different. Like people he actually met. He was like, like that was like was the most critical he got, other than while driving. And yes, that's true.
When I was reading it, I was also thinking about he who is wise, that he who learns from every man. Dedushka did not have pride in a way that would not allow him to learn from other people. He saw everyone as an opportunity to learn. And I don't know, also us grandchildren, like, you know, he would talk to us on our level, but would always respect us and respect our opinions. And, you know, Rav Tzvi, who was many years his senior, he gave great respect to. And I just thought this Mishnah perfectly describes Dedushka.
Pavel, there's no addendum. Who is funny?
Sometimes we have to make our own Mishnah, yeah.
Yeah. So how would you end that with Dedushka? Who is funny? The person who tells jokes with bizarre punchlines that are still being laughed about years after his passing. I don't know. That seems like a mouthful. True though it may be.
Well, I mean, Stuart, like I said, couldn't be here because they're at a wedding, but he always has that story with what's it, monkeys, elephants, him and Seth.
Yeah,
There's something about that.
Is no monkey. It's just like whenever they hear something like like that they can't figure out what the heck is going on, they just quote the punchline of that joke from Dad.
Right. And, you know, one can only be as happy as, you know, 3 elephants. There's no other measure of happiness, you know, like just except an elephant.
Well, it was an elephant. It was the elephant happiness scale.
That's
I just
right.
thought that made sense. I guess I grew up with it, but yes, there's an elephant happiness scale.
Right? Are you as happy as 5 elephants? Or only 4 elephants?
Here, can I tell another story about Dedushka? Yeah. One time it was Parashat Lech Lecha, and I was looking for a Dvar Torah to say in my school because we were going away for Shabbat, and they asked me to say a few words of Torah. And I was talking to Dedushka in the car about how I was looking for a Dvar Torah and I didn't know what to say. And he said, I have a Dvar Torah for you. And I was like, yeah. And he said, God said to me, Lech Lecha is the parsha where God says to Abraham, leave your nation where you grew up and where your parents are and go to the land which I will show you. And he said, God said to me, go from your land where you grew up and leave to Israel. And that he made Aliyah and he moved twice, once from Russia and once from America, and that he's living in Israel, and that we all got that commandment, not just Abraham.
Can I have a
All
picture
his
to show?
descendants are here.
Yeah, everybody. Good, stay here. Okay, I found a picture yesterday that I'm hoping Malky can explain. Anybody know what this is about?
Yes, that was in my in-laws living, that was in my in-laws den before they did the shiputzim. How do you say that in English? The
Renovation.
Before they did,
Renovation.
before they did the renovations. And that was a red wig that I bought in an attempt to try and wear a sheitel. And that was Hanan's, my kid's uncle Hanan's guitar. He was a guitarist. And
Yes, okay, now, well, those three things are, I understood.
right.
But then now what?
Why not? It made sense in the moment.
Made sense at the time.
It just did. It was, and you know, like, who is funny, right? The person willing to put on this whole getup just for the photo.
If I have others like that in that case.
Well, we have plenty of others, although not with Dad in a red wig. That was unique to that one moment. But we've got lots of pictures of him goofing around with sculptures.
Oh yeah. We have a whole. We should put together a whole thing. I started looking for things yesterday. I mean, they're not here, but I thought I would share this one also. One more picture.
Yeah, isn't there the one of him holding that ballerina sculpture? Or like they're dancing together?
No, that was me.
Also a sculpture, and also you. I have to send this to Eileen. What else did I find?
He had lots of grandchildren, not just you guys.
Right. 1 second. But I think this one. Let's see if I can do it. I'm not sure we had this picture before. 1 second. Repeat and save. Just a second. Didn't have a chance to do too many of them. Let me see the. Maybe I just show it.
Maybe some of the children could say stories that they remember of Dedushka.
Yeah.
Natana, would you like to say something you remember of Dedushka?
No, I think not. 1 second. Let me just share one more picture while people think about it. Okay. Anybody want to guess which baby?
That's Yair, I think.
It's Natano.
That's me.
I know.
Right. You guys know. Yeah, it's
Why
Natana.
would Yair be wearing ski gear already?
Well, so they looked very much the same as babies.
Yeah.
That's a picture of Daddy with Dedushka. But so Daddy, Super Daddy asked me a question. I actually have an answer for that. Super Daddy, this is the last thing I got from Dedushka. It is an envelope. It was while I was in the army. I don't know if you can see it, but there's an anchor on it, and Dedushka wrote my name on it.
Very nice.
And he set it aside for my birthday. Like that was supposed to happen, 2 months later. and I carry it around in my wallet.
That's sweet.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Anyone else want to say Dedushka stories?
Nathaniel, Dad was so proud of you.
I know.
Sure.
Akiva, you wanted to say something?
I remember last time we did like this.
Remember last time what?
That we did this.
Is it nice that we do it every year?
What?
Remember last time.
Yahrtzeit, do you have that picture that Milechka sent recently with Talas?
Yes. One
That's
second.
actually the moment when Mila and Lala brought the Talas.
Ah,
And
oh, that's the moment?
they
Didn't
took
realize. One
it
second.
at the moment.
1 second, I'll find it. Just a moment. Um, okay. There. 1 second. Here it is. Save. And I'm putting it here. Second. Okay. Make it big and share. Right. So this is right. Right. This is the talus, and that's Mila. Thank you for bringing it. And then he had it. The reason it's extra warm and thick is because it's double. The way he fixed it was he had somebody put in a second layer to hold it together.
He sent it to the Israel Museum.
Really?
To the restoration unit.
Really? I thought he
Yeah.
only. I don't. Did that actually work? Because I know he had it done by this guy that lives in Renana who's a little bit strange, but I think he got it to work.
I think the version of the story I heard was he like found like an actual like legitimate restorer, because these things are very fragile. When I saw it when it came, it was extremely fragile.
I'm sure. The fact that it gets around is not trivial. Yeah. Anybody else have stories? Or I like this idea, Malky, you had of putting together a thing of just the goofiness. We should do that. Ari, in your vast spare time.
Not Dedushka, but I always think of Igal as a spitting image of Babushka.
Sometimes. Sometimes, in some ways. And the ema also sometimes. Yeah. No.
I can share something.
Yeah, Dari.
Hi guys, hello people. Um, in Midrasha, for those who don't know, I'm in Midrasha seminary for the year. And sometimes we'll have like these writing classes. Like it's just a class where we'll like let our thoughts flow, and sometimes it'll have a certain nosé, how do you say nosé? A certain topic. Thank you. And so one of the classes that we had, it was about heroes and who's a hero and what's a hero. And I found myself writing about Dedushka and just describing him. And excuse me, wait. One of the things like that especially stood out to me as I was writing was of course his entire story of leaving the Ukraine and going to the US and also making Aliyah, like all of that. But then also just the amount of attention and like warmness you would get from him. Like how whenever you'd be speaking to him or whenever you'd see him speaking to someone else on the street, then like he'd always have their full attention. Like they would always have his full attention. and how special that is, of like knowing that the other person, like the person that you're speaking to, is really concentrated on what you're saying and the words, and how rare that actually is, and what a beautiful attribute it, like, something that I very much מעריכה, value. Yeah. Something that I would share.
Thank you. Sweet. Oh, what's Hillel doing to Abigail?
Dad would sometimes, Dedushka would sometimes call me on the phone after he left the house, and we could speak for about the 3 minutes it took to get from his apartment to Achuza Street, and then after that it was chaos. And I'd just be like waiting on the line, waiting for him to finish the conversation, like, because he would meet people, and I'd be like, Dad, why don't you call me back when you're done with the walk?
Yeah.
Just walking with dad down Achuza Street was a little like walking with a celebrity, but less paparazzi. And only because that was then. If you were today, I bet you would be just the same. People would be like, hey, let's take a selfie. I'll post to Instagram that I saw you.
Probably. And there's still people who come up to me and say, oh yes, your father is ahead. And like, I didn't know your name. Never mind. Like, one of the people, in one of the British people who were in our shul said, oh, you know, your father, he translated this letter from me that we have from Russia from 1,000,000 years ago. And he went and he translated for me. It was such a great kindness. I'm like, I had, no idea. Yeah.
Ima, connecting to what you said. So ever since I was, I think, 7 years old, I've been going to the same barber.
Mm.
That is the same barber that Dedushka took me to. And we would go together and get our hair cut.
Which one of his hairs was cut?
The ones that shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
So like every time I go, like we still say a few words about Dedushka and we remember him. Because Arik, the barber, he remembers him vividly. And he still misses Dedushka. Just like I do. Yeah.
Well, I have.
Regarding the talus, I think I have. It's not a very complete, but I have here an old collage of various times the talus was used. You can see here, and the topic. I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see a little bit better here. Right. Who's in this picture, just so that I have the facts straight?
It's Dedushka Motel. That's who he got the talus from.
Right. I don't know where this picture is from, but I definitely
from Russia.
In the loose sense of the outskirts of Kiev. Cousin Mila, who's here, is his granddaughter also.
Okay. So here we have Lina and Eric's wedding, I believe. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You can see bar mitzvah wise, we have Nadiv's bar mitzvah here. I have a picture from. It's Rami and Shaya over here on the right. On the bottom, I have there's Shaya and Esther, Nathaniel and Meital, Benji and Lisheva, all having the talus. There's also my bar mitzvah up here. I think when I made this collage, these were all the weddings that there were, but since then, Baruch Hashem, there have been more weddings all using the same talus. Just figured sharing this little collage.
Ari, there's also the brisses. I'm sending you a few.
Please do.
And I'll send you from the wedding as well.
Hi, Kaviva.
Yeah. Well, we also have the video that Ari put together last time. So I can share that also. Share. And 1 second, I think there's a video.
I have to go. Bye, everyone. Bye.
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 Bye, everyone.
Bye, gorgeous.
Second, I think it'll just work. Here it is. That's the button. Share sound.
Да. Потом началось.
Oh. No, let's stop that. That's a different video. You can watch. I'll send you the link of the other one. You could watch it later.
I gotta go.
Ah, beautiful.
Mhm. Natasha, you want to say anything, or where'd you go? There you are. Oh, it's Ariella. Hi, Ariella.
Hi everyone. This movie always makes us.
Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Привет.
Привет. Guys, I'm just gonna say what I say every year. We're
Okay.
super lucky that we had him in our life.
Mhm. That's true. Mhm.
And
I'm
this
gonna go.
video,
Bye.
this video of goofiness, Kirachka,
Да.
this video you got some pictures with from ground of sculpture, so with some goofiness.
Listen, if Nathaniel and Ari made the video, so obviously, if it's going to be representative, it's going to have pictures of goofiness. But I think Malky is talking about something a little more concentrated. So I think we'll have to work.
This slideshow amazing.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, can I say something before the kids leave? Because I guess it's getting late for you guys. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to point out that, hi, Mike. Привет.
Hi.
That
Привет.
today is also Babushka Lina's English anniversary. And they loved each other very much. In fact, the first 5 years or 4 years of the war they spent together. Petya did not even meet his dad until he was 5. He left when Petya was 1 to the war, came back 4 years later when he was 5. So he was very close to Babushka Lina. And I wonder how much of the traits that Petya has that we're talking about he got from her. I don't remember her. We don't have any videos of her as we do of Petya. But I remember the energy she gave off. Very loving, very, in some ways similar to him. So I just want to acknowledge her. And I hope they're together looking down on us and they're proud of us. And I hope you guys remember her as well.
It's also Danielle's birthday. His English birthday is March 3rd.
Хочешь сказать?
Нет, сейчас я не могу. Я вся
Маришка!
Гисюнечка.
Да. Ой, я вся в эмоциях.
Скажи что-то. А то я в звук уберу. Говори.
Говори, не могу.
Ну, не, так, ты сейчас говори.
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 Я переведу Тимука надо.
Каждый год мы собираемся в этот день, когда... И каждый год нас все дальше и дальше отодвигают от Петеньки. Все равно, мы все любим его и также говорим о нем, как о живом. И все больше, слава Богу, нас все больше становится. Киренькины внуки, это вообще 10 человек. Представляете, как Петька бы их всех любил.
За меня поцелуй.
Женя,
И
you
за
put picture, go ahead.
меня. И за Милку.
Женя, you made her do this. You have to translate.
Okay, I'll translate, I'll try. So Geisha said that every year we do this, and every year we're moving further and further away from that time that we had him. But it feels like the way we talk about him, like he's still with us. And it's so nice that every year there's more and more people in our family, that Kira now has 10 grandkids, and how much Petya would have loved each and every one of them if he was with us. I think that's the main points.
Yeah.
What? No. Mila, спасибо за талант.
Да, и пятикнижья мы ж привезли тогда, да?
Да.
Книжки есть. The Chumashim they also brought. Each of you guys have, except Natamo has a becher.
Петенька был поражен, как нас пропустили. Мы просто не представляли, какую ценность мы везем.
Контрабанда.
Это была контрабанда самая настоящая.
В каком году?
Первый раз 20 лет назад.
So there's so it's 20 years ago that they brought it
В октябре будет 20 лет.
So So 20 years ago, this coming October, and they brought it. They didn't realize, you know, what a treasure. I mean, they didn't check, they didn't stop them, but it's a treasure for us. Это нам это сокровище. Это остальных не.
Как папа решился забрать его? Они же скорости не забирали, когда продали дом. И Натанчик и Изенька поручили Арончику это забрать.
So Mila's father, Aaron, is the one who was in charge of all the stuff when they sold the house in the shtetl in Korston. And he kept it. Так это у него было дома все эти годы? Он не боялся?
Годы у нас лежало, да, да.
And for all those years, 60 years, he kept it from 55 till 2020, to 2000. Kept it in the house.
Да. И 20 лет каждый год почти
Пользуемся.
Для семьи, да.
Да. And we've been using it for almost, well, Nathaniel's bar mitzvah was in 05, right? 05 года. У него был
А вот
бар
эта
мицва, потом...
фотография, что наш дедушка сидит, молится, это еще в старом доме.
В старом доме.
Не тот, что вот на скалах был, а еще в старом доме.
Okay. So I don't... Это Гиса знает, это я уже не знаю. There was an old house in the shtetl.
Да,
Okay? I didn't know there was a new
вас
house.
еще тогда не было.
Okay. Before my time, yes.
Да.
Gisa maybe knows, right?
Maybe, yes.
Kira, you keep saying shtetl, and I just want to be accurate. We're not from Russia, we're from Ukraine. All of our ancestors are from Ukraine.
Yeah. But shtetl is a Yiddish word. It was a shtetl, no? It wasn't a shtetl?
Yes, it was in Ukraine, because in Russia there was no shtetl, so we're not allowed to live there.
Right. That's true, by the way. When we use Russia, we just use the Russian-speaking world, not Russia, because, yes. Right. The shtetls were all in Ukraine, on Poland. Yeah.
I just sent on the Rosenberg family group the more updated, thank you for those who sent me just now pictures to add to this little collage, but I just sent it on Rosenberg, all the pictures with Vitalis.
Nice.
Good job.
Arian has and the live PowerPointing. Special skill. Anyway. Anything
I'll just remind them that I think I say it every year, but still, that every time in shul when we would go, Dedushka would always go, and he would introduce us to people who knew us since we were babies, like every single time, like, oh, this is my oldest granddaughter, so proud of her, and like give us a kiss on our forehead, to like Eileen Greenberg, who knows me since I was a baby, for like the whole time we were there, but like every single time, it was really.
He was trolling.
What?
No.
He was trolling.
He was just proud.
Genuine. Yes.
He was happy
A little bit of
Ирочка,
each, maybe.
Нам надо попрощаться, нам уходить надо.
Хорошо. Bye-bye. Спасибо, что пришли.
Счастливо.
Счастливо.
Я ничего не понимала, что вы говорите, но я насладилась каждым из детенышей. Великолепные.
Спасибо.
Пока, Юлечка. Пока.
Пока, Марик.
Пока.
Бай.
Bye.
Bye, Маришка.
Пока.
Mila said that she didn't understand a word, but she really enjoyed seeing all the cute children.
They're very cute.
Very cute. And it's good to have her to tell the story. Only one left. Yeah. So I can only imagine what Dedushka would have said about, you know, Dr. Sirota Katz being published. Chaviva's in the newspaper today. Right, we'll share it when it's the English one comes out, but the Hebrew one came out for the paper that was published. We shared about the paper being published, right? In the really, really fancy journal. So they did a newspaper art, they published newspaper article about that research. And of course they used the picture of Chaviva because she's
And it's like
Photogenic.
I'm not the head author, somebody else, but
yeah,
You're
but
clearly the most
kinda
photogenic,
have
and that's
to
what
be.
matters.
right.
Chaviva will sell the most newspapers, but you know that Dedushka was published also, right?
Yes.
Ari doesn't know.
What was he published for?
Medical statistics, if I remember correctly.
Wait, can you explain that?
He was before we left, that was his last job. He was working as a mathematician in
Mhm.
medicine. They were doing research, I think sports medicine. They were doing research as Russians do on, let's say, heart capacity during sports, that kind of thing. And he was there, you know, the one who, oh, the shovel left, the one who made the graphs out of the numbers, right? You can identify Chaviva, right? A bunch of numbers, you have to have graphs and you have to make things. Except he didn't have abacus. I mean, he had an abacus. He didn't have the program called abacus. He had a slide rule and graph paper. That was the extent of that they had to work with. But they published some articles, and we have them here in the Russian medical. And then when he got to America, he's like, oh yeah, they haven't caught up to what we were doing at all, which is also possible. Because you know, Russian and the USSR took their sports very seriously. So yeah.
He's the reason why Ra'aya carried an EKG. No, wait, I started carrying Ra'aya's EKGs. She needed one every year. And then I realized that, you know, and then one time we ended up in the hospital where they did an EKG on her and they get the results of an athlete and they get all freaked out. And I was like, Dad told me about this.
Yeah, they look different. But I remember I went to visit his work when I was little a couple of times, and they did an EKG on me. I think I also had like some kind of thing, like when I was little, like one of those things that you grow out of. So I remember having an EKG done. I thought it was very cool. Electrocardiogram.
The same
Hmm?
story, exactly the same.
What, you?
All right, I also have to go. Good night,
There.
everyone. Bye.
Bye, feed the kids.
Petinka was wearing, he was like a doctor in a white coat.
Mm-hmm. It's very cool.
Yeah, very cool. I was like 8 probably.
Mhm. That makes sense. Yeah.
He was ABD, if I remember correctly, all but dissertation.
Something like that. And he was working on his doctorate, but as we know, as you know, that also, Chaviva, working on your doctorate and getting your
Take
doctorate,
forever.
two different things.
And I have to go too.
Okay.
Bye,
Right, you know
everyone.
that painting you have of Petra in like a painting, like a blue painting of him wearing a white robe?
Yeah, Malky, you have it?
Nadiv has it.
Nadiv has it.
Sorry, which item are we talking about?
His portrait, the blue and white one.
Yeah.
You want to hear the story behind it?
Nadiv, the ones that behind you, yeah.
It's
Oh, is that
priceless.
there? It's in your room, Divi?
Yeah, I have it right over here.
show
Hold
it?
on.
Linda, look, this is going to tell a story about this painting.
No, you have to unblur.
Hold on, wait, just a moment. I have the wrong settings on.
Yeah, you have to unblur.
Okay, background effects.
Enhance.
Zoom.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. So расскажи про это, как мы выдобывали потом.
Ой. Когда вы уехали, мне надо было этот портрет достать, взять себе.
After you guys left, and you want me to translate as she goes?
Yeah.
After you guys
Let's start
left,
from the beginning. Where was it originally? Did we have it?
кто его сделал?
Откуда?
Его нарисовал художник, настоящий, великолепный художник. Я фамилию его не помню. И потом мы захотели его купить. И сказали мне, что он в его коллекции.
It was made by a famous painter, and he did it, and he kept it, and Gisa wanted to get it. You guys left already in 1979, and then she needed to go get it, but they were told that it's in the painter's collection, that he doesn't want to part with it.
Wasn't it part of an exhibition that he did, if I remember correctly?
Yes, exhibition.
So this,
А как он, почему третью рисовал знаменитый художник?
Потому что он был в этой клинике.
So the painter happened to be in a clinic where Petya worked, and I guess they liked each other.
А Петеньку не лайкать нельзя.
You can't help but like Petya, so they liked each other, and he painted that, and he kept it as his, part of his artwork. Okay, now what? Что потом случилось?
Потом я пошла к нему, к этому художнику.
You jump like 13 years you jump. So he painting the Pietinka, and this painting was in a central city, was exhibition of this artist, and this painting was presented there. So I remember we all went to see it. I remember going there with Babushka, with Gisa. We went a few times to see it.
Wow.
Imagine you go into the gallery and you see your uncle there. Right? So it was very big. And then when we were ready to leave Russia, so it's 1991, Mama said that she really wants to get this painting. And she tried to get it, and how? So she went, Mama, correct me. You found this artist's son. I don't think artist was alive anymore.
No, his son.
And she went to his gallery where he kept all the painting, and they found it. And I think he originally, when we were trying to get it from the artist, he would not sell it because Babushka wanted to have it when you guys left. He would not sell it. He said it's one of his best, and he would not sell it. But his son agreed to sell it to us. So he sold it to Gisinka, and we sent it with the luggage to America. But when we were still in Kyiv, and Pietinka was talking to Gisa, and he said, Gisuin, by the way, do you think it's possible somehow, I know it sounds crazy, but is it possible to get this painting? And Gisa said, Pietinka, it's on your way, it's way to you. So, yeah. Did I say the story right? Because you jump like 10 years back and forth, right?
Правильно рассказал?
Yeah. So, Anna, sorry, no, Divi, it's priceless. Make sure you save it. It's not just any painting. It's a very, very good painting.
Absolutely. No question about that.
По-моему, 200-300 рублей. Он недешево продал.
The guy took a month's salary for that painting. The guy's son. Да?
Yeah, I have a photo picture of it. Okay, guys.
Okay. Move on.
It was very nice to see you all.
Yeah.
Very good to have this Zoom and to be on this day together.
Yeah, I would say we should try to do it more often, which we should, but it's actually surprisingly difficult to get everybody at the same time.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
a lot of little children.
But that's a lot of people.
Right, but it's good that a lot of you came.
Have a good night and a good day, everybody. Bye.
You guys.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Stay
Great to
well.
see everyone.
It was so
Nadine,
nice
please
seeing
send
all
that
of
picture
you.
on Rosenberg.
Bye.
Well done.
Yeah, I'll get a better photo.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.